Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 20th. It is 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity over here and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Let's shoot things over here. I'm down to the 8 hour. Down to the 4 hour. Down to the 2 hour. Down to the 1 hour. 30 minute. 15 minutes. 10 minute. And back down to 1 minute here. Ton of liquidity down here below. So we'll see if it comes down and wipes these levels out. All right, guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 20th. It is 6:25 right now. We have market opening up in about 5 minutes. I've marked up all the liquidity levels over here. You can see price is kind of pushing around in this area at the moment. Um, we'll see what happens here in a few once market gets closer to market open at 6:30. It's currently 6:25, so in about 4 minutes, I'll know the direction of the momentum breakout. We'll be following the direction of momentum here. Looking over here at the orb entry, we'll probably be looking for an entry here as well. Overall direction of market structure is looking bullish right now. So you can see over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, and 30 minute. All the market structure here is pretty much bullish. Looking over here at the overall trend, everything on the lower time frames are also bullish. You can see over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute. Price is above the pivots. The trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. So we'll most likely be looking for buys here today with regard to the lower time frames. Higher time frames over here. The 30 minute was bearish. It's flipping to bullish. Same with the 1 hour over here. It was bearish neutral turning to bullish as well. And the 4 hour here is still bullish. So everything here is pretty much looking like we should look for some buys for today. So I'll mainly be focused on looking for buys unless things do change here with regard to market structure and trend. But right now, everything is looking like buys for the moment. So I'll probably be aiming for buys here. Um, yeah, other than that, we'll see what happens here. The orb again, we'll have to see if we have some actual movement here. The volatility is a little low at the moment. It's currently 7 ATR, so it's pretty low. This is probably going to pick up once market opens up, of course. But you can kind of see from market structure over here, price was going sideways and it's starting to push to the upside. So with that being the case, we'll see what happens here as market gets closer to 6:30. Hey, Stephen, morning. Morning, Ben. Morning, Sam. Morning, everybody. Yeah, Steven said, I really hope we get a good orb entry today, 5 days in a row so far, and no good entry. Yeah. I mean, that's just the market, right? The market hasn't been good the past 5 days. It's been pretty choppy and ranging. So yeah, I hope we get a good entry today. I hope we get a good market in general. But the key thing here is not really being able to take entries. It's really avoiding unnecessary losses, right? Because I think now that you've been kind of following the rules, Stephen, you haven't really been losing any trades. So, typically knowing you from, the years you've been trading with me, you tend to have a bad habit of picking a lot of bad entries, right? Where you end up blowing accounts. I think this might be like one of the longest time periods where you haven't blown an account because you're you're more disciplined with your entries. So yeah, I hope, of course, we get a good orb entry today. If we don't get an orb entry, I'm better off with not having any trades versus having losses. So I would, yeah, I would still take it pretty conservatively unless something happens here and the market does pick up and it becomes more directional. But for the past 5 days, like you said, it's been pretty choppy. So there weren't really any opportunities for us to take not only orb entries, but just general directional entries in total. So we'll see. I'm hoping I get something today, of course. Not going to force anything, but we'll see. Hey, Maria, morning. All right, guys, we got market opening up in about 2 minutes. Looks like the momentum breakout for today is going to be a buy if anybody's looking to take that. And we'll see. Steven just quoted CJ. Yeah, exactly. Patience. It's really patience there. Hey, Karen, morning. All right, guys, we got market opening up in about 40 seconds. If you guys are looking to take the momentum breakout, it's going to be for a buy. We'll be looking for the orb entry once market opens and we've passed the first 2 minutes. And we'll see where price ends up going. Overall direction of market structure here is bullish, as you guys can see. Bullish over here on the 5, 1, 15, 30. Bullish across majority of the trends over here on the 1, 5, 15, 4 hour, and switching over here on the 30 and 1 as well. So we got market open right here, guys, in about 13 seconds. Here's the thing, prices pushed up quite a bit here, so you might want to be careful with the momentum breakout. You might get a manipulation back down. So price might get manipulated down first and then push back up. So if this ends up pushing right here too quickly on the open, that's where it becomes a little tricky. So we got market open here, guys. Momentum breakout's currently running right now in profit. Momentum breakout right there is for a buy. Pull back a little bit, like I said, just a small little retracement, and price is continuing. So we'll see what happens here in a few, guys. Market is now open. I will be marking up the orb high over here. So it looks like price is pushing back up into the previous orb from yesterday. So this is the orb high from yesterday. Price is basically, retesting the area here. Tuesday. It's pulling back into the previous range. So we'll see what happens here. We got the orb high currently at 45,077. So I'll be looking for the range here to expand further. So here's that manipulation I was just talking about, right? So price probably can push up, push down, and then push back up in a bit later. So the orb low is pushed down a bit lower. Again, the overall direction right now is mostly bullish, so I'm going to be aiming for buys here today. So 45,077 is going to be the orb high. 45,029 is going to be the orb low. Not established yet, but almost. So 45,077 for the high here. We have about 10 seconds left on this candle. ATR is currently at 14. It's not super high yet, but it is starting to pick up a little bit. All right, so here we go. Orb high at 45,077, orb low at 45,030. So we're going to look for price to break and close past this area. I'm going to keep watching the price action here. Hopefully we get a clean break. It's not going to be like a choppy move like the previous days. If it's choppy like it has been for the previous days, obviously I'm not going to take it. I'm just going to follow it. But we'll see. All right, we'll follow it here and see how this ends up pushing through. So we have price here. It's tested the orb high. Again, I need price to actually break and close past it. Again, I don't like when this happens here, right? This is what's been happening for the past 5 days, just like what Steven said. We've been getting a lot of this choppiness here. So it hasn't been a clean break for the orb entry. Here's the first test right here. No actual close past it, just a slight test right there. Again, we'll see what happens here on the next candle. All right, next candle. So still no break here. Price is kind of just, still going sideways. We got price coming down, so there may be an orb sell here. Again, I'm not really looking for sells here. If you guys want to take this as a sell for the orb entry, I mean, feel free to take it at your own risk. I'm not going to take it because my bias here is very bullish. But if you guys want to take it, feel free. Again, it's at your own risk. So not looking like we're gonna get that orb low there. Maybe we'll get this push up right here on the next candle. So we'll see here on this next candle. Look at that price action there. So again, let's see here if it tests it or if it actually breaks and closes past it. Ideally, I'd like a clean break past it here, retest, continuation up higher, right? We have a break right there, no close. So we got the break right there. If this here ends up closing above this area for a clean break, I'll be placing my pending limit order right here. If this passes the 40 points, I'm not going to be taking it. That it pretty much invalidates the entry. So right here, we're looking for this here not to actually close past it. We want it to close somewhere right here down the middle, and then I'll place my pending order over here at 45,077. If it stays above, then no entry, but I will place my pending order right here at 45,077 if it closes below it. So if we get pushed past this green box, I'm going to be canceling the order. All right, let me place my pending limit order right there.
Order submitted.
So the limit order right there is pending. Again, if price pushes past this green box, I'm going to be canceling it. So no fill here yet. There's two things that are going to happen here. Price is either going to come down and fill my order, or if it doesn't come down and fill my order and pushes right through, I'm going to cancel the order. Right? So no fill yet. I'm going to be watching for this here. Getting some consolidation here, of course. You can check the news for today, make sure there's nothing happening right now. It's like anytime soon. 7:30 is a news event. Okay. So we don't really have anything till later. 7:30 gas stock change. All right, still no fill. I'm waiting for it to come down and fill my order. If it doesn't fill it and it pushes through, then it's going to be canceled. Orders at 45,077. And if it doesn't fill within the next 4 minutes, I'm just going to cancel it. I don't want to be stuck in this consolidation here. Price should be pulling back. If it doesn't pull back, it should push up. If it doesn't do either, then obviously it's not a good time to be waiting for entry here. Everything's pretty bullish though. So looking over here at my market structure, everything's pretty bullish. 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, and 1 hour. So again, if this pushes past this green box right here, this green area, then I'm going to cancel my order. Still hasn't filled. All right, so it does not look like it's going to fill, but we'll see. No fill there, guys. I need to cancel the order. So unfortunately, 40 points right there got hit, but we did not get the fill. Christian's asking, is not supposed to be canceled after the first candle? No, that's the high-low break and retest. This is the orb entry. For the high-low break and retest, it needs to be filled on the first candle. For the orb, it either fills or it hits target before it fills. So, all right, unfortunately, guys, analysis here was aligned. It went to where it was supposed to go, but unfortunately did not fill my order. So it came down really close to it, but did not fill my order, and it ended up pushing up to the target. So analysis here played out fine. It just never filled my order. So no entry here for the orb for myself. If you guys decided to take the regular orb where you entered right on the close, you guys could have taken that, but there's no entry here for the retest. Fortunately, price pushed up too far, already hit the target, and yeah, just no move there for me. All right, another day, no orb. But looking over here at the momentum breakout, full TP right there. So both entries over here for breakout did hit its target for where it was aiming to go. Momentum breakout over here, full TP for 50 points. Orb entry over here, target hit, but no fill. And now I'm going to be looking for directional moves here. So I'll be looking for some high-low break and retest as we continue along. All right, so other than that, let's see. Nice, visual caught it. So nice work visual and catching that 50 right there. I was hoping it'd fill. I was really hoping it was going to come down and fill. It got pretty close to it, but it didn't actually come down close enough. So yeah, I mean it's all good. It looked like it was going to on this next candle. I was really hoping it was going to come down another couple points and then shoot right back up. Let's see how far this thing was to filling. It was off by like 9 points, 9 points or less. It's all good. Got that lined up right there. And now we will continue to follow along for some directional entries. So I'll be looking for price to swing back up from this point. Break and retest off the 45,122. So I'll put that number over here in my ticket window. All right, so again, we're just going to follow here and identify any possibility of opportunity for entry. All right, I'm going to go to market from structure over here, of course. Not that it's really too relevant right now because we're so far away, but still, still relevant to some extent. So we got some structure right here. Structure right there. We got a lot of choppiness over here, but it's all good. There. So we got a lot of like lower structure here because price has been kind of pushing around from this area. I mean, obviously I'll clean this up if this doesn't become the case, but right now this is kind of the structure that we have at the moment. We got a couple imbalances right here. So we have an imbalance right here, of course. The imbalances don't really matter to me too much from the upside because I'm looking for buys here. So there's an imbalance right here. You can see how price kind of gapped from this green candle down to this red one. Where price decided to come down, which you can see here. Well, like if you're looking for a possible opportunity here, you can look for price to maybe retest this area and come back down lower. Or you can look for price to break above this area and climb up higher. Right? This is just an imbalance. You guys can see there's a little gap right here. It's between this green candle and this red one. It's considered a fair value gap for a lot of people. I just consider it an imbalance. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see here how this here ends up playing through, but for now, that is where the imbalance is currently sitting. Everything here is still very bullish for me, so I'm obviously looking for some buys here. The 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30 minute, all bullish. Looking over here at the trend, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. Divergence here is slightly bearish right now, but it may shift back up. Looking over here on the 30 minute, still flipping from bearish to neutral to bullish. Same with the 1 hour over here. The 1 hour was bearish. It's flipping now to neutral up to bullish. 4 hour here is bullish. So across the board here, everything does look like buys are still intact. 4 hour, 15, 5, and 1. Price here is pushing back up. It has broken through the imbalance. If price closes past the imbalance, it's going to invalidate and mitigate this imbalance here. So right there, the imbalance has been mitigated. This is now a bullish, it's now a bullish imbalance. So this year is going to shift a little bit. This year has now it's now pretty much invalidated the bearish bias or bearish imbalance. This year now, if this closes this way, it's going to be a bullish imbalance. So we have a pending bullish imbalance here, right? We have a huge green candle right here. We have an imbalance between this wick and wherever this low closes. So depending if we get a body or a wick down here, the imbalance is going to be set from this area right here. There we go. So there goes the imbalance between this red candle and this red candle right here. So from here now, we're going to be looking for price to push up, retest, and push up higher from there. This level here has now been invalidated because we have a new high right here, right? So I'm no longer looking for entries up here anymore. Looks like we're getting another choppy market today, guys, unfortunately. I was hoping this wasn't going to be as choppy as it was previously, but and this imbalance has been invalidated as well because these here do connect, right? We have a wick right here, this red candle, and it connects with this red candle right here. So this imbalance has been pretty much mitigated as well. No more imbalances between this area. We're just getting a choppiness of market right here down the middle, back and forth, back and forth. All right, so it looks like another choppy day today. This is Fed week, so I mean, it was kind of expected, guys. We talked about this. We talked about this last week, right? Monthly market cycles, right? So week one is NFP week. It was volatile and directional. Week two was inflation week, PPI or CPI, PPI. It was directional movement. This is week three, Fed week, choppy market. Week four is I don't know what is week four. There's like every week there's like some sort of there's some sort of catalyst, right? Like week one is NFP, week two is inflation week, CPI, PPI data, week three is Fed week. And then next week, I'm not sure exactly what is happening next week. Homes data, okay. So we got new home sales, building permits. Yeah. So next week we have housing data, which could be ranging mixed market. So this was expected for this week. We had a pretty nice directional week for week one. You can see over here from my stats, this is typically when I took those trades. This doesn't really count over here to be this one. So this would be week one. See, week two would technically be week one. Took my trade there, took my trade here, and then this week is more of a choppy market. So I haven't been able to get any opportunities for week three. This is just how the market moves in months. So every month, this is always going to be the case. Week one's NFP, week two's inflation, week three, which is this week, is Fed week. Today we have the FOMC minutes. So if you guys see over here on the calendar, later today at 11 o'clock, we have FOMC minutes. And then we also have the Jack Hole Symposium. So we got that stuff going on right here behind the scenes. Right now, there's not really any catalyst. News from today was low impact. Then we have gas stock change at 7:30, which happens every month. And then looking over here for tomorrow, we have jobs data. We have some inflation data over here, S&P Global Manufacturing PMI, Services PMI, Composite PMI, existing home sales. And then Friday, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. So basically every day this week, we have some sort of Fed member speaking. Like today, we have Fed Waller speaking later today. Tomorrow, we have Fed Bostic speaking. And then Friday, we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. So with that being the case, that's why market here is kind of just going sideways. Until one of the Fed members speaks and causes some sort of catalyst in the market, we're just going to get a back and forth movement here. So this was expected for this week. This is why this week's a good time to take risk off, be a bit more conservative with your entries because, there's just not very many opportunities here, even for the directional moves. So we'll see what happens here in a few, and we will continue on with our analysis. Sam said, "Oh, come on, only came up to my break even and now 50." Yeah, I figured that was going to happen, Sam, with this choppy market here. So we'll keep looking for opportunities here. My overall bias here is still very bullish. You can see over here on the 1 minute, 5, 15, 30 market structure here is still very bullish. So I'm still looking for buys here, but I'm looking for price to break out of this structure. So I need price to break out of the structure here, retest it, and push up higher. So, all right, we'll see here if we have any other opportunities. But right now, we just got a choppy market. Price is going back and forth between this range. Eventually, I'd like price here to squeeze a little bit. So I'd like price to get a little tighter, have this range just get tighter and tighter and tighter. And once it gets too tight, it's going to break out right to the upside, or it's going to break out to the downside. We'll see. Right now, we don't really have much movement or opportunities for entry. All right. So we have price breaking below here. All right, guys. We got price coming down a little bit. I'm looking for price to swing back up. We don't have anything here yet, so that's kind of what my next move is looking like. Big spike to the downside right here. If we have confirmation of a flip to the downside, then of course I'll start looking uh, for some sells, but right now we don't have that. All right. So we got a spike to the downside right here. With that being the case, we do have a little bit of a price gap here. Let me go and clean this up. Um, so we have a little bit of imbalance right here. It's not a big one, but it's an imbalance nonetheless. I'm just going to mark this up here as structure so that we can identify this as a possible break and retest level. So what we can see here is if price decides to continue down lower, we can look for a possible retest of this area and drop down from there. If not, and price ends up invalidating this here, same thing that we talked about earlier, possibly a push back up, but we're starting to get some direction here, which is good. Yeah, so price came down here. We tested this low. Let's see if it bounces off this low and comes back up. All right, whenever price gets to an area like this, one of two things will likely happen. Either price is going to bounce off it, correct back up, or price is going to break below it and continue dropping from here. So it looks like a possible sweep area right here off this structure, but we'll see if it ends up holding above or if it breaks below it. Shiv said NQ is dumping, so let's go over here real quick. Look at NQ. NQ is dumping really hard. So yeah, NQ is super dumping hard. Let's check ES. ES is dumping super hard too. They're all dumping hard actually. It's just YM is dumping the least. So YM here isn't dumping very hard, but ES and NQ are dumping super hard right here. It's like a pretty much a free fall. Yeah, this is a free fall over here between NQ and ES. This has dropped down almost 1,000 points. That's crazy for NQ. Something must be happening behind the scenes causing this big dump. I don't see any breaking news here, so check financial juice. Okay, so this was the most recent breaking news here. It said Trump mentioned that Fed cook must resign now. So, yeah, I mean, with Trump saying that, it's going to be crazy because today's the Jack Hole Symposium. So, like, all the Fed members are going to be speaking this week, and he's trying to get rid of. I mean, he's been trying to get rid of Jerome Powell. This is going to be Jerome Powell's last stand, basically. This is going to be his last time speaking at the Jack Hole Symposium because he's going to be gone for sure. I mean, they're not going to fire him, but this is once his term is over, he's going to be done. So this is going to be his last time talking at the Jack Hole Symposium as the Fed chair. Um, he's not speaking today, but he will be speaking on Friday. The news like this doesn't happen until tonight, though. So it's just a lot of speculation. This is Trump here kind of doing what he does, right? He doesn't get along with Powell at all. So it's not good for the economy. If Powell leaves, then so here's the thing, like once Powell leaves, there's going to be no control in the Fed. So once Powell leaves, they're going to lower interest rates, and then if they lower interest rates, inflation is going to go up, and then we're going to go into hyper recession. So that's why, like, people in general, people would want Powell to stay in, but Trump wants to take him out, and he's president. So we'll uh we'll kind of see. I mean, that's just the basic rundown of like the fundamentals there of like it becomes a domino effect, right? You take out someone who's actually trying to help the economy, and you put someone in who just follows what Trump says, and it's gonna pretty much destroy the economy. So we got price dumping right here. If this is the case, then we might be able to start looking for some sells here. I'm going to clean up the chart a little bit as price continues to drop lower. So we have another imbalance over here. So we have an imbalance which is within this structure here. The imbalance is going to be from this high point to this low point right there. Clean that up a little bit. Yeah, price is dropping super heavily right here and pretty much knocking out all of this structure. So let me try to clean the chart up as much as possible so that we can have an opportunity to maybe ride this back up if it does swing back up. I'm just looking for the possible sweep areas here before they all disappear. All right, clean this up right here. All right, so let's see if there's a correction here from this point now. So it looks like we got a sweep from this lower point. Big sweep right there. Reminder, if the parameters here are marked up in blue, this is a sweep. If it's marked up in green, that's a directional move. So big sweep right there. Price came down, swept off this liquidity and off this structure. And it's now pushing up from this point. But you guys can see we have a big gap right here. We got two imbalances right here, guys. We have one imbalance right here, and we have one imbalance right here. The two things here that may play out, so there's a couple different scenarios. Price may come up, retest this imbalance, and come back down. Or price over here may invalidate this imbalance, come back up, and push up higher. So this is a difference between when people consider it a fair value gap or an inverted fair value gap, right? IFVG or FVG. FVG is basically how it would retest this area. You're looking for the continuation. IFVG is when price is inverted, where it invalidates it and continues the other way. So it's just an imbalance, but it can go either way. Price is either going to bounce off it for a retest, or it's going to break past it and mitigate it and invalidate it. So we'll see what happens there. But right now we will continue to follow through here. All right, still nothing here. No need to chase anything, guys. Like I said, this is kind of a crazy market right now because of the things that are happening behind the scenes. If there's any other breaking news, I'll try to take a look, but I don't see any breaking news here at all. At least not yet. Let's see. Nick said he got the orb for 100, was going to do 50, but he noticed ES and NQ were dumping right before you mentioned it and adjusted it to 100. Nice work, Nick. Yeah, so Nick over here actually caught the orb to the downside. So the orb to the upside right there hit, and then there was another orb right here to the downside. So back to back right there, basically. All right, we're getting a big back and forth movement here. We got price coming back up. So we had price pretty much come down, sweep this area, pushed up for 40 points right there. It's now pushing back to the imbalance. We'll see if it gets to this point and bounces off it, or if it swings back the other way. I mean, right now, I just don't have any opportunity here for entry. If we do flip to a sell here, next structure I'll be looking for price to break and close pass will be right here. It's going to be at about, it's going to be at 44,921. So I'd be looking for price to retest the imbalance, break below here. And at 42,921, I'll look for the retest and continuation lower. All right, so we got price over here. It's going to retest the imbalance. We'll see if it retests imbalances or if it breaks above it and continues back up higher. All right, we're getting another small imbalance right here. So if this here ends up closing, we'll have imbalances on both sides. All right, so we have a small imbalance right here. So this imbalance is between this red candle right here, this wick, and this red candle right there. Both of those wicks. Looks like it's retested it here already. So possible imbalance created, retest, push up higher. So again, we're going to look here to see what happens at this imbalance. This is going to be a catalyst for price to either push back up, or it's going to be a catalyst for price to reject off it and come lower. So see how market reacts to this structure right here. A structural imbalance. All right, I'll keep marking up structures. Price continues to move along. You guys can see here, just say there's a lot of choppiness here. A lot of choppiness here. I've marked these up over here as resistance slash order block areas. Right here, this is an imbalance. So I'll try to note these as imbalances so you don't think that they're structure. Other structure is going to be up here. This is like resistance. They're different. All right, so we're getting a retest right here. So like I said earlier, guys, price is either going to retest this area and come back down, or it's going to break above, mitigate the imbalance, and climb up higher. So see how price is reacting to this area? I mean, price here just might range for a bit. Might bounce off the imbalance, bounce off this one before it eventually breaks above or before it eventually breaks below. Let's see. Glenn's asking, is TPO still relevant? Yeah, TPO is market structure. So TPO is always relevant because it's based off volume of movement. So I mean TPO is still there. The TPO lines up with pretty much the same levels that I'm marking up here. So yeah, we do have the TPO right here. I mean, price was so you can see over here the I forget what it's called. The point of control. Yeah, so the point of control right here, that's where most of the volume is sitting. Point of control is sitting pretty much where my support's at. See how prices bounce directly off this point? That's where the support's sitting. It's also lined up with the point of control. So yeah, it's still relevant. You can see over here prices rejecting directly off this point of control up here as well. That there lines up with my imbalance, right? So it's the same thing. I mean, you can use it for confluence, but the structure is structure. So depending on like what you're identifying the structure for, you can use it for an extra confluence. But yeah, TPO is always going to be it's going to be relevant because it's based off the volume. So this market structure is based off mainly rejections, the structures I'm drawing, but the TPO here is based off volume. So like if you want to have an extra confluence, TPO was never meant to be used for entry points. TPO is meant for confluence on top of price areas. So like if you have structure here and it lines up with the TPO, then in a situation like that, you can use that as a strong structure. Like you can look at that as a possible sweep area, right? So for this area down here, 44,925 between that and 44,899. If there's a sweep down there, which there is, that'd be a good area to catch a sweep. So let me clean this up, guys. This here has been invalidated. We had a small area of imbalance right here, but you can see how price broke and closed past it. This is here now invalidated. And the analysis here played out perfect, right? So I mentioned for this imbalance, one of two things that are going to happen. Price is going to come back, bounce off it and come back lower, or it's going to invalidate and mitigate this imbalance and climb up higher, right? Which wasn't the case here. Price over here ended up bouncing off it. So now market can start to be bearish, right? We can look for opportunity right here. Let me clean this up a little bit. Possible opportunity over here for a high-low break and retest below this lower low. I mean, it's going to be a tricky entry here because there's not really much confirmation, but this could be a possible entry for high-low break and retest. It's going to be over here at the 44,921. Yeah, 44,921. So no close right there, guys. There's no close right there, but if price does close below this point, this could be a possible high-low break and retest. This is going to have to cut into the red flag though, so I don't know if this is going to be a good entry for you guys to be looking for because over here we have the New York low. So price may get close to this point to target, but then it may fake out and reverse back up, right, before it gets to that point. So I would consider this, if you guys want to take this here, I consider this a very risky entry. I mean, it could probably play out, but I would consider this risky. So for me personally, I'm going to sit out of this because it's not a clean entry for me. It just doesn't match my criteria. If there's no red flags here, okay, great, I would take it. And if price was in a very strong bearish downtrend, I would take it. But right now, it's not very strong. It hasn't even closed yet below. So it's still testing. But in order for you to have this entry here, you would need it to break and close below this point. Really, really choppy market today, guys. So be very cautious and be very selective with your entries here. Um, so let's see right there. Yeah, again, you're looking for it to break and close past the 44,921. Right there is a break, no close yet, but a break at the moment. So if this here closes below, if you want to take this here for a high-low break and retest, your pending limit order is going to be right here at 44,921. You're going to look for it to break and close below it, retest, and then come back lower. It would have to close. I mean, it would have to fill on the following candle. If it doesn't, no entry. I'm not going to take it again because there's sessions right here, guys. This is a red flag area. But if you guys want to take it, feel free. I got it marked up for you guys right there. Yeah, Cern said be careful. We are in a weak range still. Yeah, I agree with you, Cern. That's why for me here, I don't really like taking trades around these red flags because since we're in that weak range, um, it's easier for price to fake out and swing right back the other way. So no fill here yet, guys. If you guys are looking to take this order, your limit order would be at 44,921. It has to fill on this candle. If it doesn't fill on this candle, you have to cancel the order. That's what the strategy entails. So just be smart. It's got 28 seconds left on it. Still no fill. Let's see. Visual said I'm working on a new strategy past couple weeks on NQ and YM. So far, NQ not so great, but YM excellent. We'll keep testing it until the end of the month so far. YM is up 150 points. Nice. Solid work, Visual. Yeah, what I've learned to notice over the years is like a lot of these strategies don't cross between NQ and YM. Some of them do, but not all of them because the volatility is different and it's easier to get stopped out on NQ. Like I feel like the market orders would work best on NQ because you can kind of just you can kind of just ride the wave. For YM, it's a little better because a lot of retests happen. So right here, guys, no retest on this entry. So no entry there for high-low break and retest. Bring that up a little bit there. So as you guys can see, we're getting a lot of this opportunity here where price is moving around, but there's no fills. This is kind of what happened yesterday, right? You guys remember yesterday, we tried to take a couple entries, but there are just no fills. Looks like a possible sweep right here off this liquidity or actually off this session right here. All right, so it did exactly what we expected, right? This is why I didn't want to take any trades at the sessions because you can see over here how price rejected directly off it. I've seen this happen too many times, and this is the whole reason why I created this tool, right? Price rejects off the sessions like that. So yeah, Visual said NQ is crazy horse moves are out of this world. Yeah, no, I agree with you 100%. That's why you see a lot of people make a lot of profit on NQ and blow a lot of accounts on NQ. It's just too volatile. Like let's go back to NQ over here. Like this thing dumped within like basically within 30 minutes. This thing dumped about 1,371 points. Pretty intense right there for NQ. See, the thing with NQ is like when it drops, it drops, and when it pushes up, it pushes up. For YM over here, it tends to it'll drop, but it'll slow down for a bit, and then it'll end up continuing its movement. All right, so I'm gonna take off that structure there. We have so this is another imbalance. Imbalance right there. So you guys can see the sweeps here are like really, they're sweeping pretty hard. Like we got sweeps here in both directions. So we got a sweep down here off the structure. We had a sweep right here off the imbalance. We had a sweep right here off the New York low. And we'll see what happens here next. So we have an imbalance right here, guys. With this imbalance, again, there's two things that may happen. Price is either going to retest this imbalance and push up higher, or price is going to mitigate this imbalance and drop lower from here. If it does drop lower, there's more targets down here. We have the Asia low, we have the London low, and we have a bunch of liquidity sitting down here lower. Let's take a look at my daily market outlook for the day that I sent out pre-market. So let's take a look at that real quick. So looking over here, our overall market bias was neutral to slightly bearish with medium conviction. Fundamentals lean defensive. Target earnings miss. Fed minutes risk, tech pressure, while technicals are neutral, mildly bullish inside the 44,900 and 45,20 range with conflicting signals. Convictions medium, favoring patience until catalyst hits. So right here, slightly bearish, right? That's exactly what price happened here. It pushed up and then became slightly bearish. Let's see what else I have here lined up with the setups here. So let's see, neutral to fade, range fade breakout. So basically respecting the 44,900, 44,5020, fade the 44,900. We're balanced to 44,980. So this over here actually lined up perfect, guys. If you guys can see over here, it said to fade 44,900, which right here was exactly where price bounced from, right? My sweep right here. And then it said to ride it up to 44,980. Almost, not quite there, but close to it. So the first trading scenario here, it actually played out pretty nice. So the fade from 44,920, basically a 20 to 40 point range was right here, played out perfect. This lined up with my catalyst over here for sweep. See if there's any other catalysts here that we can look at. So right here, for a bearish breakout, look for 44,900 to break. Targets me 44,870. All right. Looks like if it breaks past this lower area right here, which is happening, it's going to drop down to these lower levels right here. That lines up right here for my second scenario, breakout trend day. So if you guys haven't looked at my outlooks here, guys, my outlooks are actually very, very useful. So over here, looking at the primary scenario, this played out perfect. I respected 44,900, sweep from right there for 40 points. And then now we have another scenario here for a directional move. Break and close, clean break and close below 44,900 and then target 44,870. So price did break past here, and the target's going to be right here, this area of liquidity down here. So that's it's pretty solid to see that it lined up with it like that. All right, so this here has been invalidated. Price broke past it already and closed. We have another imbalance right here. Small one, but still an imbalance. All right, I got some support down here. Another sweep right here looks like off this lower low. So another liquidity sweep right there. So if you guys are taking the sweeps, I mean, the sweeps are looking great. I mean, depending on like what direction of sweeps you guys are looking to take, these sweeps are just, they're coming up back and forth so often because we're in this choppy market. So we had a sweep right there off that lower low. I'm now going to move this lower to here. Price is retesting this imbalance. If it closes past it, so if this green candle closes past this area, this imbalance is going to be mitigated. So what you might be able to see here is possible retest of this area, or if there's a new imbalance here, the imbalance will be below it. We got a lot of different resistance levels that are starting to come up here now. So we have another small resistance right here. All right, so this imbalance has been mitigated. And what a messy market today. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Again, this is another learning day, I guess. We would say like this is a good learning day to identify when and where to stay out of the markets, right? If you want to trade sideways entries, I'm marking up the sweeps over here that basically coming down to like market structure that's lined up with liquidity. Again, right here, we have liquidity lined up here, so this could be another sweep. So we have this lower high right here. It lines up with this resistance point, and it looks like it's sweeping directly off it. Price came up, swept directly off, and it's pushing back down. If you want to go for that full 40, feel free. If you want to go for the ATR, you can change yours to basically 30-30. 30-30 might make more sense because the ATR here is based, it's pretty low. It's not low, but it's not 40. It's at 28. So if you want to round that up, you can change that to 30, of course, which is what I have lined up over here. So I'm not in this position, just marking this up for opportunity if anybody's looking to take that. Price here is retesting this resistance point. Um, yeah, it's just a very choppy market, guys. Earlier we had this chop up here. Price dropped a bit. I mean, now we have this big chop down here. All right, price is breaking past this resistance. If it hasn't closed above this area yet, but if it does close above this area, it might invalidate this whole resistance point. I'll take this off. It's not a very strong point. This resistance over here is going to be a lot stronger. There's an imbalance up here, but it's also lined up with resistance. There's a resistance within it. So I'll just keep it up right there as imbalance slash resistance. Again, no close past this area here. In order for us to invalidate this resistance, we would need to have a break and close past it, which hasn't happened yet. Man, this market kind of sucks a lot more than I was hoping for. I was hoping this week could be, or this today would be a little bit better because we're midweek, but we're still stuck with a lot of this chop here. So there's no entries for me to take. And here we go again. We're just stuck within this chop down the middle. Not much to work with, just a lot of chop right here down the middle. So price here again is rejecting off the resistance, no entry yet. And this market's got me yawning. All right, let's see. 7:23 right now. We have about 30 minutes till 8 o'clock. Looking up here at market structure, it's a little mixed, right? 1 minute's bullish, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bullish, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour, 4 hours neutral. Looking over here at the overall trend, it's a little mixed too. So the 1 minute here is bearish. You can see prices below the pivots. The trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. Divergence is bearish. Looking over here on the 5 minute, price is below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are starting to angle down a little bit. Divergence here is bullish. So this is a little mixed. Looking over here on the 15, price is pretty much straight neutral. 30-minute over here, price is bearish. It's below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. Divergence is bearish. 1 hour is also bearish. You can see prices below the pivots. Trend meter is red. Pivots are angling down. Divergence here is also bearish. And the 4 hour over here is still bullish neutral. So it's really mixed across the board, guys. Bearish on the 1, 5, 30, and 1 hour. 15 minutes neutral. And the 4 hour is bullish. So a little bit of a mix there. You can see here price just going back and forth between this middle area. It has retested this level here at this lower high, and it looks like another sweep there has been confirmed. Another sweep there for 40 points. So the sweeps are hitting. I mean, if you guys are looking to take these sweeps here, I'm marking them up for you guys as they come up. Yeah, not much else there. Not much else there. CJ said Sean said the market has him yawning. Meanwhile, I'm dozing off. I know it's not really an exciting market. It doesn't make me want to take anything. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who are itching to take a trade right now, and you're starting to get FOMO, or you're starting to take trade positions that are not actually that part of your trading plan, which makes sense. I mean, this is how the market takes, this is how it eats up traders. I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys where like you had a plan today to take certain entries. The plan never came up, and now you're starting to get FOMO because you're seeing a lot of volatility here. Not a lot of direction, but you're seeing a lot of volatility. So you're trying to cash now sweeps, trades that you don't typically apply. For me, I don't really take sweeps very much. I took sweeps a little bit like last month, but um, it was kind of a wake-up call. I realized that I was getting lucky with a lot of the sweeps for the most part. I mean, there was strategy behind it, but I never felt comfortable taking the sweeps. Whenever I took them, I just felt like it was going to lose, but it luckily it would hit. So just keep that in mind. Don't force any strategies that don't fit your criteria and are not part of your trading plan. For me, if you guys have seen my playbook, which I'm sure everybody here has seen, my playbook is mainly it's mainly a directional move, which is a high-low break and retest, which we haven't had yet. We've had price push directional, but no retest on those moves there. And then also the breakouts down below. So if you guys are just joining in, there was only two entries that were like really qualified as like entries that would fit our criteria. We had the momentum breakout over here hit full TP for 50 points. We had the orb entry over here hit full TP for 40 points. This wasn't a normal break and retest, but just a regular orb. And then we had another orb down here in the opposite direction, which hit for 100 points. So a lot of different opportunities here. It just kind of depends on your risk appetite. Like we do have a sideways strategy here, liquidity sweeps and V1 variations. But for me personally, I've just never been a sideways trader. I have that in my playbook just in case if I do want to take a sideways entry, but I've never really been a sideways trader. I feel like the sideways movement is always temporary. So the last thing I want to do is get caught in a sideways move once the market starts moving directional. Yeah, CJ said the sweeps are coming up, but they're just too close to the sessions for me. So I'm just waiting for market to leave this area. Yeah, same here. I'm not really looking to trade within this middle area right here. Steven said, okay, but don't get stuck in the trap. Stop loss could hit whether you take a buy or a sell. Yeah, I agree. I mean, and also like with this type of market, you're not taking very many trades, Steven, but you're also not blowing accounts, right? Because we've been trading with you for a while, so like you're the type of person to usually take random trades in a market like this. And yeah, you'll get lucky from time to time, but you also get very unlucky from time to time where you end up blowing accounts. So, the thing with you is I know you're trying to force trades, like you're looking for entries to take. If you start to build the discipline and not force trades, then you can avoid blowing accounts moving forward. And yeah, you're going to get less entries, but you're not going to blow accounts. You're going to save money in that perspective. Because the thing is, if you keep taking bad trades and you keep blowing accounts, you're just going to keep burning money. I'd rather not take a trade than take a trade and lose and then end up in a hole for the rest of the week, right? Because if you lose a trade today, you're going to be screwed for the next couple of days, Steven. I mean, let's be real here, right? That's the case. That's the case with most traders. Like most traders, they don't realize that it's not about catching a lot of trades. It's more so about avoiding unnecessary losses and bad trades. Like, look at my stats for the month so far, right, Steven? I've only taken 3 trades, and my stats for the month are pretty solid. Even if it was just one account, I'm on a win streak right now, 3 back-to-back trades with decent risk about 3 to 5% per trade. So for this month so far, I'm basically up about like 9%, basically 9 to 15%. And that's more than most people are up, on a month-to-month basis. So yeah, you just got to look at things from a bigger perspective, and you got to understand that it's really about risk management. It's not about taking all the trades that come up, especially if they're low quality trades. CJ. Yeah, I think you did too. Yeah, Sam said market keeps changing in future. Sweeps will not work. It's just about adjusting to different strategy for me. Like you used to take MPS, but changed as you backtested. Yeah, exactly. I used to take MPS V2s. Again, there was an MPS V2 which came up right here. But like I said, I don't like the slippage and I don't like getting caught in slippage. So for me, I don't really take market orders anymore. The MPSV2 is still part of the daily playbook for those of you who want to take market entries. But for me personally, I'm just not taking MPSV2s because I don't like getting caught in slippage, right? You guys have, I mean, this has happened to everybody here. Sometimes you take an MPSV2, like say for example, you took this as an MPSV2 right here. And what happens a lot of times is it doesn't necessarily get you in at proper pricing, right? Like you want to get in right here, and then it ends up getting you in like way up here or way down here. And then at that point, you're kind of screwed because stop loss is too tight. It's 20 points. So you can't have that much of a marginal error because then your stop loss is going to be super tight. So, all right, guys, nothing here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. 7:31 right now. We got about 30 minutes till 8 o'clock. My cutoff for trading is 8 o'clock. So I'll keep looking for opportunities here, but there's just nothing for me to take. Again, right here, price broke and closed past this lower low, but there was no retest, right? So even if you wanted to take a high-low break and retest right here, there was no retest. So no entry there. Price got pretty close to retesting, but did not fill. So now that price has dropped a little more. Let me clean this up a little bit.
Connection lost.
Action lost. Fix the structure here a little bit. All right, clean this up a little more. So it looks like another sweep right here off this liquidity level. Yeah, I mean, right now this is a good time to take sweeps. If you guys are a sweep trader or a sideways trader, the sweeps are hitting back and forth here, hitting a lot. I would mainly look for some sell sweeps though, not necessarily buy sweeps that are going against the trend. Steven's asking, can I copy your trades? I'll share 50% profit. I mean, yeah, if you participate in the hedge fund, but you need at least 10,000, Steven, of real money, no profit, no fake prop money. So if you guys do want to participate in the hedge fund, guys, I'm getting close to that point where I'm getting approval from NFA to reopen to the public. It's probably going to happen either late September, early October. You would need 10,000 in minimum cash, not prop accounts, real money, like real cash, a real life funded account to cover margin because we're trading on the real market. We're not trading in a simulated market. It's the real market. So hopefully by September, late September, early October. Chris said, "Did you get your Series 3, Sean?" It's in progress right now. It's like I have to sit for the actual exam, but I've been taking a bunch of practice exams and I'm there already. So my test date is mid-September. That's why I say it'll probably be up and running by late September, early October, because I will take the test mid-September. And then once I file all my information with the NFA, send them my proof of passing of the Series 3 and basically all the risk disclosures and all the information that they need from me, then it'll probably take another week or two, and then by end of September it'll be up and running again. So yeah, the ball is rolling for sure. I'm studying like literally every single day. So I do know and I think I'll pass it, but my test date is like mid-September. I wish I could take an earlier date, but I've already scheduled it for mid-September. So that's going to be that is going to be the pending date for us to reopen. Let's see. Christian said, I think, okay, that connection loss is my cue. Don't think we're gonna have anything today. Yeah, definitely, Christian. We'll see you back here on Thursday. CJ say, wait a minute, which strategy is it that we can take entries regardless of the sessions? Yeah, it's the sweep, CJ. Because for the sweeps, you're looking for market manipulation. Like you want market to be manipulated. That's why for the sweeps here, they work at the sessions because price tends to be manipulated at the sessions. So like whenever you have liquidity sitting at the session, so say for example right here, see how we have liquidity that's down here? It lines up with the London low, right? So since it's lined up with the London low, see how price gets manipulated off it? Like it works in your favor because you want price to get manipulated for the sweeps. But yeah, guys, if you guys have more questions about the hedge fund, there's gonna be a couple different options that are available now. Before we used to do just a flat rate split. There's gonna be another option where it's a flat rate just fee per month based on how many contracts you guys plan on using per trade. And then over the next couple months, I'm gonna be transitioning from CTA, which is Commodity Trading Advisor, where I can manage accounts. I'm gonna be basically transitioning from that to CPO, which is a commodities pool operator where I'm going to be, it's like a normal hedge fund where instead of me trading your accounts, it's going to be pulled it together into one big fund where I just trade one account. So yeah, the hedge fund will be up and running hopefully by late September, early October, and then we'll start off with managed accounts, and then from there it's going to be transitioning to a pool. So like an actual hedge fund where like everybody's money goes into this one fund, and that's going to be what's traded as a main account. So just to give you guys a heads up, because the CPO status that takes a little bit longer because I have to turn in a lot more information and a lot more disclosures to the NFA and the CFTC. Um, but that is going to be the next step because it's easier for me to trade just one big account versus me managing multiple accounts, right? So that's going to be the case. So basically, the first phase of the hedge fund will reopen in October, and then probably by December, January, the second phase where it's going to be like one big fund. So instead of having me to trade like 50 accounts, I'll be trading one account with like millions in there basically, because everyone's money is going to be pulled into that one account. All right, so there goes the sweep right there as price pushes up. Let me go back over here and look at the structure. There is a Another gap right here. Or not gap, fair value. Yeah, basically fair value gap. It's an imbalance. All right, let's see. Yeah, a lot. So in October, it's going to be reopened to the public. Right now, I'm not able to take new clients for the hedge fund because all of the previous clients, their accounts got frozen because they basically forced me. So what happened before was like the hedge fund was operating on an exception basis. And then what happened was I started trading too much money. Basically, there's a cap on how much money you can trade and for how many people you can trade for. And if you guys remember earlier in this year, I had issues with NinjaTrader, so I complained to them about execution times. And that's where I made the transition from market orders to limit orders because what happened was there's a lot of slippage and my orders wouldn't get filled. So then I had to, they basically looked into my accounts. They saw I was trading like too many accounts and I was trading too much in funding or too many funds. And they basically shut down the hedge fund until I got my Series 3. So now I'm getting my Series 3 and I'm doing basically what they're requiring me to do. And then from there, I can reopen the fund. Yeah, exactly, Lila. Hopefully soon enough we can get that back going because I know it's nice having me trade your accounts and you don't have to worry about the trades being taken. While you can still trade your own prop accounts. So what happens with a lot of people here is if they do participate in the hedge fund, a lot of people will trade in the they'll have me manage their personal account and then they'll still trade with like Apex and stuff like that. Because you can still do that. You can still trade, but you can also have me trade your personal funds and that will be like recurring income, right? Because like basically you're taking whatever I'm taking, and obviously I'm going to take the very conservative entries, and then you can take riskier trades with the prop accounts.
Connection lost.
Another connection lost right there. Zachary said, "Should I be interested when you get to the pool status?" Yeah, no, definitely, Zachary, 100%. The pool status is going to be a lot easier because then everything is kind of controlled by me and you don't have to like really do much. The problem with well, it's not really a problem, but it's still pretty tedious with the managed accounts. Um, so the difference is called like there's managed futures where I manage your account and the only like I guess headache for that is that you still have to send my split to me every month. When we run under CPO status, which is a pool, you don't have to send me any funds because I'll just take the funds out and then we cut percentages on there. Let's see. PC's asking, you will have a max contract limit for YM, right, due to liquidity constraints? No, no contract limit for me. PC said in the live market, YM has a tough time filling large orders due to volume liquidity constraints. Best is NQ or ES for large immediate fills. That's why they use algos to fill orders. No, I never had issues before. I mean, initially when I was trading the managed accounts before, that was in a live, it was in a live market. So I was trading, let's see, everybody was trading about so I was trading like 30 contracts. So we'll do like 30 contracts on my personal account, but then everyone else was trading about like 10 contracts. So 10 times 30 plus 30. I was filling 330 contracts per trade on the breakout. So I didn't have any issues with liquidity. And this is pretty big because normally on regular contracts, like you're only seeing like one to five contracts filled per price. I don't see why that'd be an issue. YM is like one of the most volatile assets. YM, NQ, and ES. It's not like a individual stock. If this was an individual stock, then yeah, I could see that happening. But no, I never had issues with liquidity. Some accounts would enter at like different price points, but yeah, getting the actual order filled was never a problem. So, I mean, we'll see. I see what you're saying though, PC, because right now we're using limit orders. So yeah, some orders may get filled while others might not. That's why for me, I would prefer to get in at a as a pool versus having individual accounts. But yeah, I haven't had any issues. I was pretty much executing about 330 contracts per entry. And this is enough to make the market move at least like a few points. Not like a lot, but like, a few points. Like obviously when you see like these big moves over here, like price hits a high, this is probably like, 500 to 1,000 orders getting filled. Not at the same exact price, but they're getting pretty much they're getting staggered in. So like right here, maybe like 50 contracts, 50 contracts, 50 contracts. And that's why this thing keeps dropping lower and lower. So that might be the case. But for the most part, unless I'm filling like 1,000 contracts, 2,000 contracts, then I might have some issues. But around filling about 300 to 500 contracts, I think it's still manageable to get those fills in. Yeah, definitely, Zach. Me too. I'd rather have it as simple as possible and less hassle, like more hands off for the client and for myself. Because like, it gets really it gets real tedious having to like email like 20, 30 people like, hey, pay me my split or whatever, and then keeping track of everybody paying their split. All right, Shiv's done for the day. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Elon's asking Sean to participate in the hedge fund. Do you need to be an accredited investor? No, you don't. So you don't have to, because I'll be giving you risk disclosures. Um, if I wasn't to give you risk disclosures, then you wouldn't need if you were an accredited investor, then I wouldn't have to give you risk disclosures because you would already know, you'd understand the risk. But because I'm giving you all these risk disclosures and we're having all these contracts and stuff filled out, usually like we'll meet, I'll give you the contract, you read over the contract, make sure that you understand everything, so that you know what you're getting into. So it's not necessary for the pool. You might need to be an accredited investor, depending on how much, like depending on which pool you're going to be joined into. I'll have like a normal class of pool where they're normal people where you can be unaccredited. But for the bigger pools where you're putting in like, six figures to a million or millions, then you'd have to be accredited because there's a lot of risk involved in that one. So it just depends on which pool you decide to fall within. It's gonna be based on like your investment. Because I'll probably have two different pools. I'll have a riskier pool and I'll have a lower risk pool. Like a pool with just breakouts, and then a pool with the directional moves, a pool with sideways entries. Like each pool will have a different type of strategy that'll be applied. It's based off risk. That's what I did before. So when initially I did the managed accounts, I had a separate laptop. Like, I had two or three laptops here, and all I did was like one laptop was for breakouts, one laptop was for scout moves, and one laptop was for like directional moves. There's a lot of work, but I had like four different mouses here for each laptop. Yeah, Sam said he's never had issues with micro. So the difference with like, because PC was talking about a live market, the live market and the simulated markets are like completely different. Like for Apex here, if you're trading on Apex, like on like an eval, you'll see that it's really easy to get your orders filled because it's simulated, right? It just fills it. But on a real market, you need to have someone on the other side to take the other side of the move. Like the futures market is kind of like a zero-sum game in a sense. Because when you put a sell in order for you to get that sell filled, someone has to take the buy side. Or if you take a buy, someone has to take the sell side. But the market's liquid. I mean, we're trading with NinjaTrader. We're trading on the actual exchange, so the market's liquid enough to fill those. All right, guys, there's still no entries here. We have price kind of just ranging sideways here at the moment, like we had earlier. So we got this right here. I'm gonna clean this up. Yeah, as you guys can see, there's not much going on here. Price is just going back and forth between this area. The imbalance over here, I think, has been invalidated, so there's no longer an imbalance right there. Price is kind of just sitting from here now. A little bit of a support level right there. But this is pretty much where price is sitting at the moment. All right, guys. Yeah, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Unfortunately, it's not looking like I'm going to get a position for today, which is fine. Again, here are my stats for the week so far. I haven't taken any trades this week. If you guys did take the breakouts, the breakout did hit for today, the momentum breakout, and the orb here did not fill, so there was no entry there, but it did push up 40 points. So the orb here, no fill, but price pushed in both directions, whether you took it for a buy here, 40 points, if you took it for a sell, 100 points. If you took the momentum breakout, full TP there for 50 points. And then there's a bunch of sweeps that happen here today. Sweeps and one MPSV2. No high-low break and retest. I've been looking for a high-low break and retest pretty much every time, and there just hasn't been any fills here. Yeah, no fills at all. If you guys are looking for a high-low break and retest, possibly off this level right here, it's going to be at 44,842. So possibly high-low break and retest right there. But we don't have much direction here. So now looking at my market structure, currently right now, the 1 minute's neutral, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minutes bearish, 1 hour and 4 hour are both bullish. Looking over here at the overall trend, the 1 minute's bearish, 5 minutes bearish, 15 minutes bearish. So lower time frames, you're probably gonna be looking for some sells right now. Looking over here on the higher time frames, it's bearish on the 30 and bearish on the 1 hour. So for the most part, overall right here, it's looking pretty bearish on the 1, 5, 15, 30 minute and 1 hour. The 4 hour over here is still bullish. And looking over here on market structure, it's pretty mixed. But ideally, if you are looking for entries, I probably would be looking for some sells here. Yeah, certain momentum trades have been hitting this week. Yeah, they have. I've noticed that too. So you can see over here, like we had a sell momentum right there, momentum scalp, full TP if you wanted to take that as a breakout V3 continuation. Also full TP right there. So there's opportunities here if you guys want to take these trades, guys. There's a lot of opportunities here that are coming up. Another one right here, the sell signal push below. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities and entries here for you guys to take. It just depends on your risk appetite. For me, I'm not looking to take anything too risky, of course, but I'm hoping we get something tomorrow or Friday. I'm hoping we get out of this chop. Market's been chopping like this pretty much every day this week. It's been moving somewhat directional, but very choppy. So just looking back over here, there's no high-low break and retest off this lower high. Price broke below, no retest. This was at the sessions. Nothing here. And the next opportunity is going to be right here if it does come below that point. All right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to hop into the chat. 7:52 right now. We're getting really close to 8 o'clock. As you guys can see, there's not much happening here. Hopefully by later today, there's going to be more movement because we do have the FOMC minutes. So once we have those FOMC minutes, then we'll see if we get more of a directional continuation from there. Because price will react to it, of course. Today is Fed day, so we'll see what happens. All right. All right, guys, I think market here is going to stay flat. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to get into the chat right now. I can help you guys with whatever you need help with. If you want me to analyze anything specific for you, if there's any type of strategy you want me to review, feel free to hop in the chat. There's nothing going on here. You can see prices just going sideways. Again, if you want to take this here as a high-low break and retest, this is going to be really tricky because you have a bunch of red flags down here. If anything, I'd be looking for a possible sweep, but if you do want to take a high-low break and retest, it's going to be at 44,842 right there. Yeah, exactly. Sam says loving volatility, better risk reward. Yeah, 100%. I mean, the volatility here is pretty much flat, so it's not a good time to take entries. But yeah, the increased volatility does work in our favor because we are trading momentum, which is what we would need. All right, guys, 7:55. So it's not looking like we're gonna get anything here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. I'm gonna call this a few minutes early. There's just no need for us to hang out here for the next 5 minutes. There's nothing that's gonna happen here from 7:55 to 8 o'clock. So again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap this up. If you guys are just joining in, or if you guys are new here, if you guys want to learn how to analyze these tools and understand like what I have on the chart, feel free to go to the website. If you scroll down to the description, it has a link there for the free intro course or the free course in general, where it has all of these modules here explaining everything, right? The platforms I use, Trade8, NinjaTrader, TradingView, all of my tools here, the indicators, all the strategies right here. So if you guys are new and you guys want to understand, that's completely free. Just go to the website. It's codykaitrades.com. Click on unlock your free access right here. And this will give you access to pretty much everything, the Discord, the strategies, the tools, etc. So that you guys have an understanding of like what we're looking at here. Because there's just nothing here I mean, there's stuff to pull away from the market, but if you don't understand like what I'm looking at here with regard to the trend, market structure, um, entries and etc., then you're kind of going to be out in blue. So if you guys want to learn that, feel free. It's available to you guys. The entries for today that came up were the momentum breakout here. The reason why this trade was taken was because we had a buy signal here. Market opened up at 6:30. The buy was taken immediately on open and it pushed up to 50 points. Also, the orb entry over here, we were looking for a high-low break or not. We're looking for a break and retest off this orb high. It never retested, but it did push up to the 40 points that we anticipated for it to push up to. Then price broke below here. Again, no retest, but price did push down 100 points in this direction. Lastly, we had a bunch of sweeps here. We had price kind of sweep around through these these lows and highs as price is moving through structure. And then right here, one directional move, which was an MPSV2. And other than that, price here has kind of just been going back and forth. So a lot of choppiness today. I'm looking for mainly directional and breakout entries. Market wasn't very directional, so I couldn't really take the directional moves. And the breakouts over here just didn't fill for me with regard to the orb. So, all right, that's about it. Yeah, Sam said, thanks for today. No trade for you, but who cares when you have made 700K already? Yeah. So here are my stats for the week, guys. Haven't taken anything for this week so far. I'm at 0. For the month, I'm currently up 124,300. And then for the year so far, here are my stats from January 1st, 2025 up until today, which is August 20th. 2025, I'm up 706,530 gross, 609,832 net. That's like minus commissions and stuff. So yeah, that's pretty much how I've been playing out this year. It's been pretty good. And that's why I've been very consistent with sticking to my trading plan because I don't need to force anything. I'm up very much for this month and for this year where I don't need to take anything that is too risky. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here, same place, same time tomorrow as we continue on with this trading week.